Hey y'all, I'm Mythic Dawn, and today I wanted to make a non-joinable factions tier list for Skyrim. Please let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me in the comments. Y'all ready? Let's go. First, the Afflicted. I will say that the vomiting the green acid stuff when it's at you sucks. But the idea of purifying Tamriel by spreading an acid vomit disease is pretty awesome. I'm not a huge fan of their base of operations since it's in a Dwemer ruin, but hey, where else are they gonna hang out? And honestly, I think Periite's pretty cute. Aww. Then I have the Alik'r from Hammerfell who've come in search of a traitor. Their story is interesting, but very limited. I wish there was more there because their outfits and weapons are really cool, and I like Kumatu. I'm a fan of the Blackblood Marauders. I like that they're led by 2 Argonians. I don't like their location though, because I'm not a fan of water. I like their backstory about them being former pirates whose ship gets trapped in a cave-in. I like that they created these little galleyways and they built around the ship too. That's really cool. Their quest Lights Out is fun and interesting. I just wish I wasn't a wimp about water. I'm not the biggest fan of the Battleborns. I wish their influence could be felt more strongly. They are one of the wealthiest families in Skyrim and can trace their lineage to Yazgimir, but despite all that, they're really just there to be in a fight with the Greymanes over which side they've chosen in the war. They are going here. I felt similarly about the Greymanes with a few exceptions. The Greymanes are more interesting because they're linked with the Companions. Their family has worked the Skyforge for centuries. They have a quest where you're asked to save Freyla and Orlan's son, so I rank them higher than I rank the Battleborns. The Snow-Shods are alright. I'm probably mispronouncing their name. The Snow-Shods are... The Snow-Shods. The Snow-Shods, I don't know, I never pronounced their name right. They're marred by family tragedy. I like the backstory of the husband having met his wife in the war. That's really interesting. But they're just another wealthy, influential family where you don't really see much of their influence aside from their son being betrothed to Victoria Vici, who's like the cousin to the Emperor. I think they're also in business with the Black-Briars. I kind of like the Silverbloods. The biggest reason is Cidhna Mine. They own the mine, which doubles as a prison. I've always thought that that was awesome. Like the Black-Briars, they own a lot of things and have real influence, and I like their conflict with the Forsworn. But the Black-Briars are by far the more interesting family clan. I like Maven. I like that she's a hot-ass business person and the head of the family. The Black-Briars hold influence over everyone, even the Dark Brotherhood. I feel like Black-Briar Manor should be bigger though, but they also have the meadery and then their little summer home. Sibby's story is very interesting. He's kind of a black sheep of the family, but there is this one weird, unconfirmed thing about maybe keeping too much in the family. Players have discovered that the game files for Hemming Black-Briar is listed as Maven's son, and Sibby and Ingen as her grandchildren, but the game dialogue refers to Sibby and Ingen as Maven's children, and Sibby as Hemming's son. So you see the problem here. Oversight or lore, who knows? The Blood Horkers are an interesting group. Hayden, the leader, is a mage, and I like him, but I hate their base of operations for obvious reasons. The thing I like most about the Darklight Tower Coven is their name, but they do the Hagraven ritual, which I would love to be a Hagraven in Skyrim, and the quest is interesting too because it involves betrayal. The East Empire Company, it's hard not to at least respect a big, powerful enterprise. Plus, the quest involving the Bloodhawkers is an East Empire Company quest where you get a really cool follower. The Elder Council are the advisors to the Emperor, and they make the laws that govern the Empire. I think we see them in Arena, but they're only mentioned in Skyrim. With the exception of Amon Mortier, who is part of the Elder Council and wants the Emperor dead. The quest is good, but we don't learn much about the Elder Council from Skyrim. I find the Penitus Oculatus more interesting than the Elder Council. They are the strong arm of the Empire. They protect the Emperor and the law, and they have this neat little insignia that I like on their uniforms. A faction I really like is the Forsworn. They want back possession of the lands they conquered while everyone was distracted during the Great War. They were able to take control of many areas, including the gold mine. They're also in league with Hagravens. The Red Eagle story is interesting. I like the Cidhna Mine quests in general, but I usually hate quests where they take all my stuff. The Hunters of Hircine are taking on a worthy cause, we just don't see much of them. But give me anything having to do with the Oblivion Crisis and I'm interested. So the Order of the Mythic Dawn is high on my list. They're a cult of Mehrunes Dagon, who's the most interesting Daedric prince to me personally. I'm still very interested in the Mythic Dawn, but it does suck that there's only one member in Skyrim. Plus, Mehrunes Razor is one of my favorite Daedric artifacts. I talked about it in my Skyrim Daedric artifact tier list. The Glenmoril Witches have existed long before the events of Skyrim. The earliest game I first saw them, I think, was Daggerfall. I also like the companion quest where I get to carry around their heads. The rivals of the Thieves Guild, the Summerset Shadows, have a much cooler name instead of just generic Thieves Guild, so that's awesome about them. I do wish that they had unique armor. There was a lot of wasted potential with them, but I do imagine a world where if you could join them, the story would be so much richer. Now, the enemies of the Companions, I really wish I could join them. I like the Companions, but I've always thought there was a huge missed opportunity in not letting us join the Silver Hand. We can join Vampire Hunters, why not Werewolf Hunters? Their name is cool, the name of their leader is cool, the Skinner, that's just the best name for a Werewolf Hunter. The silver weapons were a nice detail. They make real waves in the Companions questline. They're also very cruel. Whenever you go to their little hideouts, you see werewolves being tortured, werewolf heads on pikes, trapped werewolves. You can just really feel their hate for werewolves, and I just wish there was an option to join them. I don't really like the Synod. They're kind of like magical hall monitors. They ban conjuration and necromancy, and they're partly responsible for the awful mages guild we have in Skyrim. They were also poking their noses in quite a few times to disrupt the teachings in the college and find powerful artifacts. I don't like them. I also don't like the Thalmor, but I think they make really good villains. They're both religiously and racially motivated, which makes them easy to hate. And they definitely have influence. They were able to disrupt a whole province that's not their own. I like that they're important to the main quest and the College of Winterhold and also the Civil War. It's interesting too because they're really on nobody's side. They want to both abolish the Empire and the worship of Talos, so their real goal is maintaining the civil unrest because they want to rule, because they think they're superior to men and they want to instill their religious beliefs on everyone in Tamriel. And not just superior to men, but just superior to everyone. The Morag Tong gets some attention in Skyrim, and if y'all have watched my Morrowind videos, y'all know how I feel about the Morag Tong. But I don't like their limited role in Skyrim. I also understand why their role is limited, but still my love for the Morag Tong never ceases. I don't have that same love for House Hlaalu, which I'm probably mispronouncing the name of as a disrespect. Although I do think it's interesting that as the Dragonborn, I get to thwart their attempt on a Redaran counselor when I'm the Redaran Archmaster in Morrowind. I like the Vigilance of Stendarr, the professional monster hunters. It's nice that they will heal you on the road when you come across them and it fits in with their creed. One thing that really sucks though is that they just get killed and their hall is destroyed once your character reaches level 10. I just wish there was a way you could intervene and save them. I rank the Skaal pretty high too. That I know of, they're the only faction in Skyrim that believe in only one god. Not that I think that's any better than believing in many gods, but I do like that they're different in that way. In fact, they have a whole different belief system entirely. They believe they are reincarnated, and that their god is the Allmaker, which is a simple but good name. I like that they have strict rules, which would be perfect if you could join them. Your character could have a lot of structure. They have specific rituals when it comes to land and hunting. I like that they keep to themselves. They're very much one with the land and the creatures. They have their little blood moon prophecy, which is creepy, where the moon goes red and the wolves walk around like men. They're just all around a very cool faction, and I wish I could join them. And the last one I want to talk about is the Psijic Order. I've always been interested in the Psijic Order. I've only ever seen them in Skyrim, but I would be interested to know if they're in any other Elder Scrolls game. They live in an Atlantis-type place, and what I mean by that is that their island disappeared and reappeared hundreds of years later, and apparently they don't talk about it to outsiders. And with the way they appear and disappear, I wonder if they all got together if they could make a whole island disappear. I also like that the Psijics decided that they didn't like where the rest of the Altmer were going with their beliefs and morality, and so they just separated themselves from them. They couldn't be swayed by the New Order. They have influence because it's revealed that they put the plans in motion to control the Eye of Magnus and make the Dragonborn Archmage. I've read a few books in Skyrim on the Psijic Order. They created mysticism, a whole school of magic. Manamako used to be a member, so he holds secrets. I'm always so happy to learn more about the Psijic Order. Okay, I think that's everything. Please leave a comment letting me know your favorite non-joinable faction. And if you liked the video, don't be afraid to subscribe. Bye, y'all.